Hey everybody, how's it going this week? Well, last week we kind of covered the Rolling Stones coverage about whether furries are going mainstream. And in that particular video, I did cover a little bit about Inked Magazine, sort of riding on the coattails of Rolling Stone. As I was writing the article that was going to correspond with that video, for the people who have audio, like people who are deaf or hard of hearing, I want to try to make it so that my articles at flavor.com sort of correspond with the videos that I do online, so that people who can read, but people who are hearing impaired don't have to rely on the YouTube videos to get the news. They can also go to Flavor to read a textual version of it. So I'll put a link in the description below to that article, which covers that in a written manner. Plus, written word is somewhat easier to consume than some random guy babbling at you on the YouTube channel. But you listening, audio also has its points too, like because you can listen to me ramble while you're doing something else. So they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. Whereas reading usually takes up a person's like thought processes. Usually you can't read and listen to somebody at the same time, or read and watch something. Reading is usually a very active activity, whereas listening to someone is pretty passive. But obviously not everybody has the ability to hear things clearly in that. So for the hearing impaired, I would like to try, and that's sort of my New Year's resolution, to do that. But there was a point that I made on my written article that I want to try to emphasize here, and that was the Inked Magazine's article about the conundrum of furry tattoos. In that article, which I will put in the link in the description below, they go over, as I said, it was a very, there wasn't a lot of points to that article, other than like really old information from like from a Fur Affinity forum from 2012 and a Live Journal post from 2005. So it was really, really outdated inquiries about people wanting to add tattoo markings to their fursuits. And that's mostly what was covered in that article, is fursuit tattoos. And the reason that Inked Magazine wanted to talk about fursuit tattoos is because they wanted to try to tie furry fandom with their target audience. And their target audiences are individuals who are, tattoo artists and, ink and people who, put tattoos on people, right? Tattoo artists and tattooers. Like, I'm not part of that group. I'm not part of that clique, so I don't know what they call a person who's who's the needle guy, who's the needle man, right? The needle guy who pokes your skin and puts the patterns on it, right? I don't know what they call that. A tattooer, I'll call them, I guess. I don't know what the official name is though. So I'll say tattooer to show my ignorance. But that's not my target audience, right? My target audience is the furry fandom. But the issue is that when you're writing for a magazine or you're writing for nonfiction articles about things, the important thing is to know your target audience and to help your target audience along. One of the big things about the Inked article about the furries, that I was pretty critical about, that in hindsight that I'm really, really critical about, is how it ends. So I read through the entire thing, and at the end of the sentence, they say, "See, if you're a tattoo artist and you want to get involved in the fandom, see, like there's a place for you in the fandom, like to add these tattoos to these costumes, and you can do that." And it's like, to me, it's like those are two different things. Costume design is a lot different than tattooing, right? There's not a lot of overlap there. If you're going to be updating somebody's with things, you'd either be, putting colors or different colors on their fur, like you would put like black markings or paint things in black, similar to how like I have spots on the back of my ears here, right? So those black spots are colorings that were put on, right? So let me turn it fully around. So like the black spots on the back of my ears are not the fur color. Those are color burned, right? Those are color that's colored. I don't know if you saw it or not. because I can't see the screen while I'm turned around. So, like, those are not fur color, but the orange is fur color, right? So similarly, you could do that with the fursuit. But that's not the big thing here. The big thing here is that their target audience um, are people who are professional tattoo artists, and as a magazine that's supposed to be looking out for that particular consumer base, I don't think it's well within their consumer that in their readership's interest to have the people writing at them saying, "Hey, look, you could join the furries and make furry costumes." I mean, it'd be cool if somebody in the industry of inking got interested in costume design, but there are two different things, right? I think it would have been better served because obviously furries are going to be reading this article as well. You mention us and we'll see it, right? I mean, geez, I'm yammering about it right now. The thing that you have to understand is that have you ever thought, and this is a big thing in the media, what if we just took the costumes off for a moment, right? I'm not going to take the head off because I haven't done that yet. But what if we got skin, man? We got skin. Anything? And like, so what do you propose to me? And here's the thing: a lot of furries, if you do your research, they don't have all this costume stuff. They got skin, man. They got human skin, and they don't wear the costumes all the time, and some of them don't wear the costumes at all. Some of them are, some for like a majority of the furry fandom doesn't have a furry costume because these things can get expensive. Like mine was around $500 at the time for my whole partial with my tail and my feet and my hands. You're only seeing a part of it right now, but the whole costume in and of itself was around a $500 expense. Not everyone can afford that on a thing for a what is considered a luxury item, right? And tattoos, in essence, are also considered somewhat of a luxury item. They are they are something that you put upon your body that isn't a necessity, but a lot of people want to express themselves with the skin. And that, in and of itself, can reach a furry audience because not every furry is about costuming. Some people are just in it for the art. Some people are just in it for, the content. Not necessarily the people who costume and perform in costumes, but they're in it for the performance aspect of it, or they're in it for the art, or making the art, or purchasing the art. Like there are different people in it for different reasons, and that's similar to how the inked community probably is. Like there are people who are really like getting tattoos, and there's people who really like making tattoos, and there's there are people in those communities for different reasons. So instead of trying to convince people, your target audience in the inked community, to go and design furry costumes, instead they could have targeted furries that don't have costumes and help them understand that not all furries have costumes, but they really dig animal caricatures. They really dig anthropomorphic animals with human characteristics. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them have a persona, right? A character that really speaks to them, an animal that really speaks to them. And you could talk to, like, if you're going to target furries in that way, you could have taken the opportunity to go, hey, if you know a furry, if you're a person who's a tattoo artist and you know a furry, you'll work with them to get a tattoo because we got skin, man. We got skin, right? Like hey man, you want a kangaroo tattoo? Yeah, sure, cool, right? I'll make you a red kangaroo, put it right on your shoulder, man. Make your persona a part of you, right? You could have advertised it like that. You said, man, you want to have your persona be a part of you? Put it in your skin, literally. Like, man, put it in your arm, put it in your back. Like if you have to be professional or whatnot, you have to put it somewhere conspicuous. Or if you want to go all out, like put tiger stripes on your face or something, right? Some people did that. Like there was that one individual who was who like literally morphed their face to look like a tiger, and they died about a few years ago. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but Like they had like striped tattoos and things like that. Like some people get really into it, like get really into their animal characters. Like you want tiger stripes, man? You're a tiger. We can make you tiger stripes, like right in the upper arms, right? We'll make a tiger out of you, right? Like there is an opportunity here that was completely missed, and the reason that opportunity was missed is because in the media they don't see this. They don't see the skin. What they see is this. They see the animal costumes. That's all the furries are, just animal costumes, and that is to their detriment. That is to their deprecation. That, if anything, that highlights that the media shoots itself in the foot when they see furries as just people who wear animal costumes instead of understanding that they're also people, right? That there's people under those animal costumes. They can fail to see a way to engage with the furry fandom that might not have been there otherwise. So instead of going forward and telling furries, hey, if you're interested in tattooing, you can get a tattoo of your animal character, or we can make like tiger stripes, or you can, like, if you have a special symbol, like how what they call cutie marks for the bronies, right? So like get a tattoo of your cutie mark, right? That's an opportunity. And that opportunity doesn't exist unless you think about things more than skin deep, more than fur deep. So to the media and to that, your New Year's resolution for 2020 is, if you're trying to appeal to the humanity within furry, if you try to appeal to the humanity within furry, you might be able to get more engagement from them than if you just treat them as animal costume performers. Because the furry fandom is more than just that. And that, as I said, is the very first video that I did on that. And it's still an issue within media spaces that, like, this is the thing that they identify us with, is the animal costumes. And that's all and fine. It's mostly harmless. But at the same time, by doing so, I present that the media certainly misses opportunities that it could have otherwise found. So that's it for my Roo Ramble this week. Next week, we'll move on to a different topic, hopefully. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like what you see here, kick that like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section. Have you seen have you seen any recent articles that seem to overemphasize the costumes, where you think that could have been better spent on covering furries from a different angle? I would like to know if you have examples that you can think of where you've seen articles such as that. Feel free to share them in the description below. I'm going to get the hop out of here. We'll see you guys again next week.